Hey everybody, Big Richie 2004 here with episode 2 of Wrestle Talk on Twitch. I'm joined by my esteemed colleagues. First, hailing from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, weighing in tonight at Unknown, a former World Heavyweight Tag Team Champion of Mario Kart, and soon, I don't know what else titles he's going after. You'll have to ask him. Mr. Great and Perfect, the Great GQ!
All right, guys, get your freaking 2 sweets up to your monitors. Ready? 2 sweet me. It's just 2 sweet.
And hailing from parts
And
unknown.
also, thanks for saying where I live, you jerk.
Mechanicsburg? You tweet at it all the time.
I don't mean to. I tried to keep
God.
it secret.
Jesus.
Hailing from somewhere in New Jersey, however you do that stupid accent.
New Jersey?
New Jersey. The queen of pizza and bunnies. The current internet wrestling women's champion of Twitch. Princess Diana!
And you forgot to say I'm the best.
And it's
You're
also
not the
Diana.
Diana? Yeah, it is Diana.
Uh,
God, you know, I'm gonna get those one day. I'm gonna hit those.
Some W's in.
you guys are cutting it for me. Oh no.
We don't know what Diana's doing right now. We can't be held responsible for any lack of quality that's added here, thanks to her.
What?
No, I'm just
Excuse
kidding.
me. I think GQ should have had his camera up when he did the 2 sweets to the monitor. Could have done it right to his camera.
Yeah, I'd have
I
to
do that on
capture
my
his
cast.
I'd have to capture his camera. Anyway, how last time we were going over stuff was the 3-hour Raw, or was it 6-hour Raw and SmackDown Super Star Shakeup. We went over the entire rosters. I don't think we're gonna be doing that anymore. But that was before the draft, and the draft happened, and it's been a week later, and we're going to go ahead and delve into that, especially on the Raw side, if you guys are ready, unless there's any questions you got or anything you want to drop in on.
First of all, let's just say, who do we think got the better side of the draft?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I can't answer that. I really don't know. Did anybody really benefit? Like,
I think people benefited, but I think
not the shows, the people did.
I think it all comes down to basically Kevin Owens going to SmackDown or Bray Wyatt going to Raw. Which one do you think is the better move? Everything else is decent in a push, but I feel like those are the two that are really like the big things that went on.
Raw, sorry.
Because I feel like Miz and Maurice are about mid card, and Sami Zayn's mid card ish.
But is Bray really going to benefit? Like, that's the thing. I can't see Bray benefiting on Raw because there's just so many other people that are.
Yeah,
over,
I mean, he's
gonna
have a good feud with Finn Balor right out of the gate.
Well, that's pretty good, but I mean, Kevin Owens going to SmackDown, that kind of threw me off because Sammy's on SmackDown. So I don't know. I wasn't so thrilled with the shakeup, but whatever. That's me.
I think Kevin Owens' whole like Canadian thing gimmick is pretty cool.
So
his new like shtick.
Kevin Owens is super entertaining, but I think that Raw benefited because they have more pieces to tell a compelling storyline, which we'll get into here because there's some obvious factions that are definitely going to at least potentially be formed, and then SmackDown.
Yeah, I think Raw probably benefited the most.
Like, the moves to SmackDown help the stars more than it helps SmackDown. Because I think SmackDown's still a fine show. And even with some of the most recent booking decisions there,
Oh,
I still think
Jesus
it's a fine show.
Well, I know why they did that, but I mean, still, there's a reason behind that.
Yeah, there is. So let's start on the Raw shakeup here. The first name that actually got traded over was the Charisma Vacuum. The guy who can do every single move in the ring. Literally, probably has the list of Jericho's moves, like, memorized. And is without an ounce of charisma in him, Apollo Crews. That's all I've got to say about him. I don't think Crews is even going to help himself because the guy has zero charisma. But I'll start it off with you, Diana. Ladies first, GQ. Sorry.
Well,
what do you think about Apollo Crews?
I think he needed to stay down at NXT. So him going to SmackDown, it didn't really do much for him there. And that's the land of opportunity, right? So now they draft him to Raw, or move him to Raw, whatever. What was it, like 2 hours before the show started? Like, nobody was really even paying attention, I feel like. And we really haven't seen him since. Have we? I didn't get to watch last week.
He was backstage with Titus O'Neil.
Oh, well, that says something. So they're not doing...
It's clearly the first feud that you want to have when you're coming to a new roster. Titus O'Neil.
I could see him either heading out of the company now, because he's going to be on Raw. There's no... He's just going to be filler still.
But he's a good worker. I don't think...
He is. I think he needs to go back down to NXT is what I would honestly would have done. I would not have moved him to Raw. I would have kept him on SmackDown or put him down at NXT. He's on Raw. He's basically...
I think if they can come up with some storylines for him, he could be okay. But it's just like even in the backstage gimmick thing, like it was like Titus O'Neil was pushing the Titus brand on him. He was just kind of standing there, like smiling and just like looking all like, whenever he was like saying like, and then they can go on a vacation on the Apollo Cruise line and stuff like that. It's just like, it was like Titus was the one who was like making more of that moment than Apollo, and it was just like at Apollo's like behalf. But I like see that he has like all the skill, and I hope that, you know, he can somehow come up with a character or a gimmick that gets over, because he's a way better worker than Ty Dillinger. But Ty Dillinger, you know, because he has that stupid Perfect 10 gimmick, is more over right now, which is absolutely dumb. But anyways, let me get off that soapbox, because I don't want to.
My views on Crews real quick here. He reminds me of Teddy Hart in the ring. I think a lot of his moves he does, there's really like no reason in him doing them. Like he does shooting star press when he's built like the Ultimate Warrior. If he did a big splash, it would be the exact same thing. Like it's just like ooh ah, and then a kick out. It's a big impact move and it gets kicked out. I don't even know what his finisher is. I don't know like anything about Apollo Crews. I try to watch Apollo Crews matches. I fall asleep. But I feel like, you know, he's the type of guy that they need to keep around so Superstars will actually have wrestlers on it, since some of the other stars that were on Superstars are actually starting to do things for themselves. I don't see... He has no charisma. He can't cut a promo. He honestly has this dumb, goofy smile. Maybe if he does something with the smile, he'll be interesting. But right now, I think Sylvester Terkay had more charisma than Apollo Crews.
Will he lose his smile like Shawn Michaels?
Turn him heel.
I think he does. I think he's the type of guy who benefits better in the indies, or maybe on a tag team, and a tag team where maybe he's the smaller guy, and gets I don't know, someone like maybe Titus O'Neil is a bigger guy. But that's just.
He also had the other backstage thing with him and Tozawa. Possibly they could form a tag team. I mean, they wouldn't be on 205 Live, but I mean, if the Raw roster needs, another tag team that can like help elevate, some of these heel tag teams, then possibly could fill that role.
How much does Apollo Crews weigh? Do we know?
He weighs a decent.
Yeah, so he's like 250.
Okay, so it's not. All right, I don't know why I asked that. I don't know why I was thinking, maybe he can go to 205 Live, but no. I'm stupid.
Cedric Alexander barely fit, like barely is 205, and he's way bigger than Cedric.
All right, so Apollo Crews, does it help him? Yay or nay? I say nay. I think he's in his own way.
I say it's a push. I don't think he was being helped being on SmackDown. I don't think being on Raw will help him either. So I think it doesn't matter where he is. I feel like he's going to be in the same spot on the roster and on the card.
So next we had The Miz and Maurice. They moved off a very heated feud with John Cena and Nikki Bella from SmackDown to Raw. It's weird because I feel like that they were so it on SmackDown and them on Raw. I mean, you hit this out of the park, GQ, and you said that you think that they're going to benefit more, and I'll let you elaborate on that a little bit. But in my opinion, I actually think that this is this seems like the worst swap, in my opinion, like the one that should not have happened. Why don't you go ahead, though, and tell us why you think The Miz and Maurice are going to benefit on Raw?
I don't think that they were ever in WWE's plans to be more than like upper mid-card kind of gatekeepers to the main event kind of like position. And I feel like on SmackDown, they were, could have potentially been main eventers, but they just took up a lot of time on a 2-hour show because Miz is a talker. You need to give him time to do that. He has that time on Raw. So I feel like any feud that he's in is it's going to be, something that leads up to a pay-per-view that, because he can tell a good story with his mouth. And plus I feel like he will fill up time on that 3-hour Raw, and that's what his place is. I don't think he was ever going to, transition the main event. In some ways, I felt like it was a demotion for John Cena to be in that match at Mania, whereas you saw it as like, it was like Miz getting pushed up the card. I was like, no, this is like a total Bellas, total Divas, throwaway WrestleMania match. But still, I think that the Miz is going to be in the same place, if not maybe move down the card a little bit being on Raw. He won't benefit from being on Raw, but Raw will benefit from him being on Raw.
To me, like, The Miz made that match compelling. I don't care what anyone wants to say. His in-ring work is maybe a 5. Like, he's a solid hand who can get through a match. Right? Yeah, 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Not a 5 out of 5. He's a solid hand who can get through a match.
5-star. I was like, wait, no.
No, he's not a 5-star. He's a solid hand who can get a lot of matches done. He's never going to have that 5-star match. That's not him. But his promo work, I dare anyone to find someone on the roster who's a full-time roster member that's also a wrestler who can cut a better promo than The Miz right now. He is electric.
I think KO's up there with him. KO's money.
I thought KO and Jericho were close, and then watching what The Miz did with the vignettes of him and Maurice doing,
like, they were funny, but they
John
were cringe too. Like they were
cringy, but they were hilarious because Total Bellas is garbage.
Yeah,
they made it 10 times better in my opinion. It wasn't even the real thing.
This hurts The Miz.
I would watch a full episode of them parodying Total Bellas.
Yeah, I would too.
Them a YouTube channel instead.
This hurts The Miz, though. This definitely hurts The Miz and Maurice. I don't know. Maurice doesn't really factor into anything, but
she's a great ballet, but yeah.
Yeah. This definitely hurts The Miz more than it benefits anyone else. I think he'll stay in the limelight because of the work that he did and because Maurice is on Total Divas. But it's going to be interesting to see him going forward, where he is in the hierarchy, because there's really not a lot of great heels on Raw. So, yeah. And he's...
You have Braun, and who else is really like a main event heel right now? Like Bray, whenever he comes over.
Braun, is he going to be a heel? I thought he was a face.
Who?
Braun. Oh, not Bray. Wait, did you say Bray?
Yeah, Bray and Braun Strowman are both heels. Right
I
now.
thought they were making him a face. Well, so during his feud with Randy, I thought Randy was the heel and Bray was.
No, Randy's the face. He's
and
he's coming over to with Finn Balor. What are you like?
I don't know.
Arsonist Orton's the face in that feud. Oh man, Dada, you want to add anything to the Miz and Maurice coming over?
There's no more talking smack with them. That makes me upset. That's the only reason why I watched Talking.
Yeah, but he can be on Raw. He can be on Raw Talk. Now.
Yeah, but that only happens like after every pay-per-view, which is next Sunday. But if they even have him up, but still,
yeah,
like that was one of the best things about Talking Smack, in my opinion. And they took that away, and now I will probably never will watch Talking Smack again. But I don't know. I don't know. Their whole thing kind of is like confusing to me because they lost at WrestleMania, and then like they show up on Raw, and now he's just feuding with Dean, like what they did on SmackDown at the beginning of the year, right? End of last year, beginning of the year.
But I mean, if he takes the IC title off of Dean, then that has him in an elevated spot where he's the champ. But
he better, because he'll make it good. Because so as of right now, though, this can lead into Dean's like. There is no top title on Raw. So my theory was Kevin Owens would have still been on Raw and bring that U.S. title to be the top title. This might, what you said, that Miz could win. I can see Miz winning maybe on Sunday, next Sunday, if they make it a match. And the Miz making the Intercontinental title the top one on Raw because Mr. Brock Lesnar doesn't show up with the title.
I mean,
and it's like nothing.
If you get the title of like the IC title, Miz made it the most relevant it's probably been in a long time. Whenever he was the champion,
that's what I mean.
His
never-ending Intercontinental title reign.
Thank you. Yeah. And he did a second one. He did 2 tours in 1 year. Hardest working man in wrestling today. Anyway.
He needs to, if anything, if he doesn't win, then I'm going to be like, what's the point?
Anyway, Speaking of his next opponent, who we see him being booked with, the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose, excuse me, I almost called him by his indie name because I think it's just infinitely better. From Raw to SmackDown, this has a lot of implications on it.
From SmackDown to Raw,
SmackDown to Raw, yeah. His move to Raw from SmackDown was what I meant to say. Has a lot of implications, for sure. The number one is this current storyline. I kind of like the fact that they're bringing this up now because the Miz's storyline for the IC title chase was phased out. It was like a 2-week program. And, they just shifted it after WrestleMania to SmackDown. Or after WrestleMania, I mean to like Raw and post-WrestleMania with him chasing the IC title again, which I'm intrigued by. I like both of their mic work. I think that they're both like, solid. They'll give you like a 2 or a 3-star match, nothing great, but their promo work has been pretty stellar so far. Probably the best on Raw over the last couple of weeks.
Well, what about people calling Dean lazy apparently recently?
He is. Dean Ambrose is lazy because he's not allowed to go out there and be.
Yeah, I don't think he's lazy. I mean, I feel like maybe the move to Raw, also like he'll be away from his girl, and I feel like maybe he'll get refocused, revitalized. I feel like that was a shot that was definitely something that the writers were, maybe trying to push on him. But keep in mind that he is also like the guy who has worked the most dates for WWE in the last like 2 or 3 years. Like he is a hard worker when it comes to like he is Mr. No Days Off, but it's like they've just done so much crap to his gimmick since he was world champion. Like I love Dean Ambrose. He's probably still like I like his look. I like his gimmick and how gritty he is. Like he's one of my favorite wrestlers like ever. I just really like him a lot, but it's like WWE has not been doing him any favors in the last year ever since he dropped the belt to AJ.
That's true. He hasn't, I feel like maybe that's his booking, but I do feel like he's lazy. I think that he can definitely turn it on when he wants to. Ambrose can have a 5-star match. I don't care what anyone wants to say. Ambrose can definitely tell a compelling story in the ring. I mean, if you look at what happened a couple years ago at WrestleMania, basically Brock Lesnar shit on every idea that Ambrose had. And I think ever since then, Ambrose is like, doesn't really matter what I do, what I want to do. Like, it's going to matter on, if I get a call, if I can actually work with the talent. And I don't think there's been a lot of talent that wants to work with him. I think the lunatic fringe as a face doesn't work for him. And I think that's why people think he's...
I really think he needs to turn heel.
He does. But I don't see that happening because I've got another point here. But Diana, anything you want to cover on Ambrose real quick?
No, I like Dean. I don't have anything wrong with him.
He's still one of the top 3 or 4 best-selling merchandise.
Yeah, he is. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I just, no, I like him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we all like Dean.
He's one of my favorites too. Like, I don't see anything wrong with him, whether he's a face of one, like whether he's a face or a heel. I'm going to enjoy what he does. Whatever. I have nothing to say really on him.
I'm a big fan of Mr. Ambrose. I do think he's being a little bit complacent with where he is right now in the card.
I think this is going to go into your next point, which you were going to bring up about him. I do want to see a Shield reunion, though. I think that's the only way you can get those 3 to feel in place. I guess maybe if he loses the Intercontinental title.
I feel like that's the only way that you're going to make it to where Roman Reigns doesn't get booed out of the building.
Seth doesn't feel lost, because right now I feel like Seth's lost in a way. And if Dean loses the IC title, like, he can somehow, I don't know, go with them.
I actually
Sasha Banks of the men's roster to me. Just lost in the
lost and everything.
All 3 of those members honestly are lost. I actually think that a Shield reunion does wonders.
Who would they even feud with on Raw right now? Like, I mean, I guess they could just.
Well, I'm not gonna get into my idea because that can take.
We'll let you run on that tangent. I think that a Shield reunion's imminent. I think that it's going to be something that's going to sell tickets for Survivor Series. I think that
the Balor Club.
Yeah.
We could see a Balor Club. I think the New Day and the Shield definitely have some intrigue. If you're going to do a cross-promotional 3-man tag at Survivor Series, I like where they're going. And then
Jinder Mahal has the Singe brothers with him now, so
the Bollywood boys.
Yeah.
And
they're called the Singe brothers or something like that. That was the Singh brothers.
And there's speculation that a certain apple-spitting former Intercontinental Champion might be returning.
Seriously?
Yeah, there is some heavy.
Well, they started calling them the Colognes now on SmackDown, but we'll get to them whenever we get to
I haven't even heard that yet.
So it looks like there's some potential for 3-man feuding or so. I don't think that the WWE should institutionalize a 3-man tag team belt.
Speaking of 3-man teams, back in the day, the Edgeheads, Kurt Hawkins is one of them. He was the next one moved from Raw to from SmackDown, or from Raw from SmackDown.
SmackDown to Raw.
Comes to Raw from SmackDown.
Yes.
Anyone? I have no interest. I think Hawkins.
No, skip him.
I honestly think Hawkins fills up time that they need, and he's entertaining, but Kurt Hawkins is never going to be anything more than that.
He's decent enough on the mic to, like, be that enhancement talent that will just put everyone over, but he can still, like, get in his, like, word or two. Kind of like what Bo Dallas was doing for a while, or whatever. Like, he fits that bill good, and he's a decent enhancement talent, and I think he's all right with that on this run.
Kurt Hawkins is the current day poor man's version of MVP when MVP was on that losing streak. And
he's a poor man's Barry Horowitz.
God, no. He's more enhanced than Barry Horowitz.
He doesn't slap his back like Barry.
I'm going to skip the next name because we don't really know what's going on, but we'll catch back to him at the end. And we'll go through 2 more potential shakeups. Kalisto, we nailed him. We thought he was going to go to 205 Live. I don't see him doing anything on...
He's going to go to 205 Live eventually, but he's freaking having a match with Braun Strowman in a dumpster match this Monday on Raw. What does that even mean? Like, Is it like a buried alive? Was it like a casket match?
No, he's trash.
No,
He's
do you
gonna get thrown in
remember?
the trash.
Do you remember when the New Age Outlaws wrestled Chainsaw Charlie?
Yeah,
and,
they pushed him off the stage.
Yeah, in a dumpster at WrestleMania. That's what they're doing. They're doing a dumpster match.
There's no chance.
Do you know what I see? Do you remember when Kevin Nash picked up Mysterio and launched him like a dart?
He's probably gonna do that into like the Titantron or whatever.
I want to see that so bad for Kalisto. Just get launched like a dart. Kalisto's
Kalisto's a good worker, and I can't wait till he actually is on 205 Live. Like, if they're gonna do that, they might just keep him as a superstar and not a 205 Liver. But him versus Austin Aries would be awesome. Him versus Neville would be amazing. I mean, I've seen that match a couple times back in like PWG and whatnot. When he was something Del Sol, I forget what his name was.
Selena?
No, that's his finisher. But it was his name was something Del Sol, I believe, or something like that. And then when Neville was Pac, they had some good matches like back in the day. But I think 205 Live would be awesome. But
Diana, you have any thoughts on Kalisto?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
She doesn't care.
Let's go on
care.
Slater and Rhino.
Another two, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
You know, I thought that their segment when they were talking and Strowman came by and Slater gave this giant scream. He's like, ah! And they looked legitimately afraid. That was pretty good on Raw.
Yeah, Slater will be jobbing here soon. Rhino probably won't do very much. Isn't he like running for office or somewhere? Or doing something?
Didn't get elected. We have hopes, though, for Kane. Go vote for Kane in Knoxville. Corporate Kane running for mayor in Knoxville. Vote him in.
Nova Kane.
Nova Kane?
Get it because he was Isaac Yanko.
I know. That's why I was laughing.
All right, next.
We're going to move into the female division right now. Alexa Bliss, who has come out of nowhere the last year. And
number one chicken tender.
The number one chicken tender for the women's... Is it the women's Raw Heavyweight Women's Championship or something? I don't know. There's too many women's titles. There needs to just be one, but whatever. I
was surprised. I thought Sasha was supposed to win that match, but yeah.
I thought Nia was gonna win that match. I legit thought Nia Jax.
It seemed like after like last week's Raw that they were teasing Sasha versus Bayley, and that's why like now I'm even like I was like looking at it, I was like, what now? Like where does this leave Sasha Banks again? Like maybe she'll feud with like Emma or something, but probably not. Emma's not really. She's like feuding with what's her face? Dana Brooke. Where they should be freaking together, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
So. I'm going to book this, all right? This is what I think is going to happen. I think Alexa Bliss is going to win the title by Nia Jax causing interference, and
I think Bayley's going to keep the belt for a little while.
Well, this is my hypothetical booking, and Bayley, with the title, and I think that there's going to be some sort of arrangement where Bliss says, if you help me win, I'll give you a shot at the belt, because Nia Jax could be frustrated that she can't get a shot at the title. And I feel like you could have Nia Jax and Bliss, in a tag team, because they're both very hot heels. Like, they're both very good heels right now.
Nia's not like most girls.
She's not. She's a little bit bigger than most girls, but that's okay. She's a monster in the ring. She's got a presence in the ring. Nia Jax is over. We're not talking about her. We're talking about Alexa Bliss.
But yeah,
I see.
Bliss, she did come out of nowhere, like you were kind of saying before I cut you off. But she did. She really when she came up. When she was one of the people that was drafted to SmackDown. Last year, I was like, okay, this is all right. But she never won the women's championship down in NXT. She was with Blake and Murphy, and then she was not really doing too much after that. She went from that to being one of the hottest things on SmackDown, in my opinion.
She is. I think not. I think Alexa Bliss has a lot of potential, and I do think that she, out of every single person in the business, has taken the proverbial brass ring and run with it, and where I feel like Sasha Banks has, stumbled, and Bayley certainly isn't as compelling as she was when she was in NXT. I don't feel like she's fully translated over to the
I think that's
transitioned over to the roster.
Yeah,
that's Creative's fault, though.
It is, but at the same time, Alexa Bliss got herself over. Like, it's not like, like she made that title relevant. It's not like the title made her, like Becky. She was the champ, and Becky can work out and outwork almost anybody, but Alexa Bliss gave that title some meaning to it. There was some it meant something, and I feel like she's gotten herself over. So kudos to her. I'm happy to see her on Raw. What are your thoughts, Diana? Because I'm gonna have you go into the next two.
I think it was a great choice. I'm happy they took Charlotte and they switched her with Alexa. Like, they're the two, I want to say, the two top heels, I guess, on each show is how I see them. I think Alexa is not going to win. I don't think she will become the first woman to hold both branded titles. I think they're going to honestly do that to Charlotte. I see Bayley winning. I actually see Alexa being part of the reason why Sasha turns on Bayley. Honestly, that's kind of what I'm thinking, and I don't know. Maybe Alexa wins eventually. I kind of see, honestly, I see her and Mickie James feuding again on Raw. I think that's why they brought them over, and yeah, that's why I feel like they brought over some people that were in rivalries on SmackDown. They brought them over to Raw, and I guess somewhat over on SmackDown. I don't really see that happening, but on Raw, I can see Alexa going after Mickie again, or
I think Mickey's basically there to put people over.
Yeah, I do think.
Well, the Dudleys were brought back.
But going into
before,
Mickie James, into Mickie. Can I say?
Let's go into Mickie James. So
I do see Mickie getting one more title run. I really do. Before her,
I think she was brought in kind of like the Dudleys a couple years ago. That she was really brought in to be an enhancement talent, to like put over the younger stars, to kind of work with them, show them what's up. And I don't think she's gonna get another title run. I feel like she is literally just here to be an enhancement talent.
I think she should get another title run. Mickie James
I feel bad for Mickie because, like I said last time, not that many people nowadays know who she is. Like, we know her. Even when she was when she came out on Raw, and she was saying like, "Oh, I'm this." I guess like what, 5, 6. She's like right under Trish or something like that. And the title runs, people still didn't care, and I'm sitting there going, "She's so good. How can you guys not be interested?" Like, I don't know if her being on Raw is going to help in any way, but maybe because they moved her to Raw because Alexa went, and also Mickie made her name on Raw, so maybe, I don't know. That even makes sense. I don't know.
Mickie James is on Raw for a couple of reasons. One, she can call a match, and she can teach wrestlers there how to call their matches. That's something really important. You can't go out and choreograph a women's match every single time, which they've been doing on Raw for a while. Charlotte started calling her own matches, and you saw them dramatically improve because she was playing to the crowd. Mickie James knows exactly how to call a match, knows exactly spots that need to happen. I think Mickie James is definitely going to improve the quality of wrestling, and I feel like with Nia Jax's push, the only person who you could foreseeably take down Nia Jax is someone like Mickie James, who she has strong kicks, she has very high hitting spots, and they're not like high flying moves, where Alexa Bliss I just feel is too small and would have to worm her way out. And I don't know, the whole Sasha Banks thing, I feel like Sasha's dropped the ball, and Bayley's still finding herself, but Bayley has a tremendous charisma, so I think Mickie James is going to at least get another title run. I could see Mickie James possibly being the person who takes the pin for when Nia Jax gets the belt to keep everyone else strong. But, I don't know. I like Mickie. I've always been a fan of Mickie. I see her getting another run. So we've got our last guy here. Probably Raw's biggest acquisition. The Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. The man who probably laughs a little too much in the ring for my liking, but hey, that's just me. It looks like him and Finn are penciled in after this mysterious gangbang hardcore cockroach worm match that him and Orton are going to go into. Any thoughts on where Wyatt stands?
I don't understand why his match isn't for the WWE title, because he needs a...
I thought it was. Is it not for the title now?
No, it's not. It's not. No, it's really not anymore. They took it down, apparently.
Really? I thought it still was.
Oh, no. That's not what I've been hearing.
I mean, like...
Let me look.
See, the best thing I feel like is if he wins the belt, Orton goes to Raw, and he goes to SmackDown. We're just assuming that that's going to happen, potentially. If it's non-title now, that's terrible. That is so terrible. Poor Bray. Apparently he doesn't get a rematch. Wow.
Nope. WWE Champion versus Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. House of Horrors match. It's no longer listed as a WWE title match. Wow, that's crap. I feel bad for Bray. They gave him his title run and then they kind of just shit down the toilet. In my opinion. That's so pathetic.
Bray Wyatt's another guy who's finding his own character in the ring, though. He laughs a little too much, smiles a little too much.
I thought with the whole gender thing, they were like, whenever he won the #1 contender thing, I thought that they were saying that it was whoever was champion after Payback.
No, they took it. They were gonna have it for the WWE title, and then within like the last week, they just changed it all of a sudden.
I don't even think they know what the hell they're doing with this match.
No,
I think
they still don't. They really still don't. So this whole match is gonna be a fail, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I'm just bored of Randy. But I'm excited for what Bray's going to do after, because I've been
bored of Randy since he was the Legend Killer. So
Legend Killer Orton,
the last like 6 or 7 years of his career has been boring.
All right, so I have him penciled in feuding with Finn. A couple of vignettes have come up, foreshadowing that potentially happening. Excited.
Feuding with Finn Balor's abs.
Oh boy.
I got excited when Bray. I mean, I wasn't really expecting Bray to go to Raw, but when he popped up after the match, because I was like, wait, what? Really? I think it's pretty cool. I think both their gimmicks, like Bray versus the Demon, I don't know, works.
I think that they definitely have potential, and there's a certain hidden gem that's on.
Bray Wyatt is also somebody who can fill up time. Like I was saying earlier, it's a 3-hour show as compared to a 2-hour show on SmackDown. SmackDown seems like it goes by within an instant. With Bray being on Raw, like his whole promo thing that he does, even his entrance with how slow he comes to the ring, like it takes time up. So it's a good thing for Raw that he's on Raw.
I think that has anyone even been entertained by Wyatt though? I don't get his whole.
I like him.
I like him.
I like his potential. I like his character. I feel like he's been a little overexposed though. I think that there's been too many promos that are being cut by him. I think that less is more with him, and I do want to hear him talk, but I only want to hear him talk once. I don't want to hear him talk multiple times about the same thing that's going on and on and on. Like, there's only so many times where, Bray Wyatt compels me when he cuts a promo out of the depths of hell. I don't know.
I have a different view on him than you do. I don't see anything wrong. I just enjoy him. I enjoy his wrestling. I enjoy all of his promos. I think they're really cool. I like his whole character. I think just that Vince and everybody kind of screwed him over with his title run recently.
So let's go to the Blue Brand right now, because we'll talk a little bit more about the hardcore House of Yin Yang Gangbang match later on. On the Blue Brand, GQ, your boy.
Machka.
Love Rusev. I hope Rusev gets pushed heavily. This honestly might be the steal of the draft for the blue brand. And
what some people are saying is that Jinder Mahal's push is only happening because Rusev is like injured right now, and the plan was for Rusev to be that guy. But that's hearsay.
What?
I've read that on multiple wrestling sites. That
the reason why he's getting his title shot though is because they're expanding to India. They have a big market in India.
We'll get on Jinder Mahal later. Come on, let's not ruin it. I know he's a hot topic. Let's not ruin it though.
But hey,
let's
really
focus on Machka.
I feel like he will fill a good spot on the roster. They need main event heels as is. Like AJ just turned face. So really, the only heels that they have right now that are near the top of the card are Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin. So he can fill that spot toward the top.
With Rusev, do we know when he's coming back? Because his super
2-3 months.
That
was like a month. That was like a month or so ago. So he should be coming back within the next month.
His super athlete gimmick, the Russian super athlete, is amazing. His in-ring work is amazing.
Yeah, he's so good in the ring.
I love the Big Show. I think that the Big Show has a great presence in the ring as a giant. Rusev made what looked like a squash match with him into something compelling. And Rusev has just always done great work in the ring. I am 100% on board. I hope to God that he gets a shot with the belt. Excuse me, a run with the title. Is that the correct WWE lingo? Run with the title?
As a top superstar, not wrestler.
As a top sports entertainer, aka superstar. I'm a big fan of Ruru. I can't wait to see him.
If you look at the SmackDown roster, there's I just don't see him being low on the card. And I think that there's some really interesting feuds there for him too. So I mean, it looks good for Rusev, I think.
Yeah, it does. And the one name that pops out that I think he's gonna work with again is gonna be Mr. John Cena. I think that those two guys are gonna intertwine regardless, because there's definitely a magnetic draw in their characters being
by the end of this year, or
other.
Just in general?
I think by the end of this year, I think that might be his WrestleMania match this year, his Cena and Rusev too, and I think Cena might put Rusev over.
You mean his WrestleMania match next year?
Yeah, next year their WrestleMania. That's their WrestleMania year. Let's assume WrestleMania is the end of the year for the WWE.
They're kind of like video games and entertainment, where their fiscal year ends at the end of March, beginning of April. So it's their year's kind of rebooted right now.
Anyone else?
That Raw after WrestleMania is the beginning of the wrestling year.
Anyone else want to add anything on Mr. Ruru?
No, I think I hope he does really good on SmackDown. Yeah, I feel like at the beginning of his time on Raw, he was really hot at top of the card. I mean, for a while they didn't even have the Universal Fruit Roll-Up belt, so he was that belt, the SmackDown the US belt was that top belt. It was defended in the main event and stuff, and he was doing really good. And then over time, he went down the card.
I just get frustrated that he, quote unquote, had heat, and it caused him. Don't do that. I don't know what he's done. Every time he's gone out there, he's made everyone else who wrestled him look, like $1 million bucks.
Yep.
People just book him right, WWE.
Yeah,
Stop
give
being
him
stupid.
a new day.
Oh boy, I see what you transitioned in there too. You know what? Maybe Kofi will return soon, but that's where the New Day is. I don't know what the hell they're doing right now.
Aren't they not showing up until... I read that they're not showing up until Kofi is healed.
Well, plus it's just there's nothing for them to do right now. It seems like the tag
division still is crap on SmackDown.
The tag division's just super face heavy. That's the problem with them.
It is? No, isn't there only
the fourth
one
face?
Who else is the
Who
face?
else is the face? American Alpha?
American
Usos
Alpha,
Usos
the
are
New
heel.
Day, and no, the Usos are a face now.
The
No, they're
Usos,
heels.
they're heels.
They're tweeners.
No, they're definitely heels.
They're heels.
I don't see them. Hey,
Oh,
yes.
they are so a heel. Their music, their look, everything is a heel.
Yeah, they're supposed to be
They're
heels.
what Roman Reigns isn't.
They are. I don't know. They're look. I
American
have.
Alpha, and American Alpha is apparently going to be feuding with the Colognes. So I mean, there needs to be another, face tag team to actually go after the belts. DIY is at least down. DIY is at least down for another couple months because they're having the next title match at the next takeover paper against the Authors of Pain in a ladder match. Apparently, I don't know how the Authors of Pain are going to climb a ladder.
Wait, what? Really?
Well,
Yeah,
Bebop and Rocksteady are gonna go on top of each
Taka
other.
and Razar.
Taka and Razar, excuse me. Taka and Razar are gonna form some sort of, I don't know, like they're gonna tag up on each other and reach for the top.
Did you see that? Not to get too far off track, but since we're talking about DIY, did you see that Joey Gargano's wife, Candice LeRae, was at the tapings and she was in a woman's gauntlet match or somplexed like that? I was like, oh, Candice LeRae. She's such a good worker and she's hot.
Wasn't she the one who penis plexed Ryan?
Well, no,
Joey, or what happened?
No, that was Joey Ryan's girlfriend that he was in a match with, his real girlfriend. And he proposed to her and then schoolboyed her. But she did a internet show which was actually really funny. The Candace and Joey show. It's a YouTube show that they did together where they traveled the road, and the show was great. I used to watch that all the time. That's how I knew who she was before I knew that she was with Gargano, and then I saw their wedding tape thing. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Anyway, getting back on the New Day,
Johnny Gargano, or I don't know what I call him, Joey. Johnny Wrestling.
Anyway, getting back on to the New Day.
Yeah.
I think that they're basically. I'm going to look toward Survivor Series. I still think that that's a hot ticket with them and the Shield. And the New Day, by the way, doesn't need to have the belts. The New Day is a trio. They can go out and they can, they can talk. They kind of fit the Miz role where the Miz was.
They could help bring some prestige to the tag team championships. There's the SmackDown tag team is just belt is really worth nothing. There's no prestige to it. It just felt like it a lesser thing. That's why I thought the club should have freaking came over.
The
they could have
Usos
made some prestige.
The Usos are great workers and have probably stolen the show at least in 2015 half a dozen times on pay-per-views.
Of course, well, they were when they had the belt on Raw, they were great. Or back in the day, whenever there wasn't the brands, but when they had the belts, they were great. I agree with you, but it's since they came to SmackDown, they injured one of the whatchamacallits, the American Alpha, so that Slater and Rhino could win the tag belts from them. They beat them that night, and then the Usos just disappeared from TV. Then they come back with their new thug gimmick or whatever. They don't really do much. They're never on television, and then they just win some number one contenders match against all these other teams that have no real storyline, no relevance. Then they beat American Alpha, and it means nothing. They don't even have a match at WrestleMania. They're all in the Andre the Giant
That's
Memorial
the problem.
Battle Royal.
They didn't have a match at WrestleMania, even on the pre-card. Can you believe, by the way, the Usos have never had a match on the main card at Mania?
Seriously?
They've never had a main. Yeah, for as good as they are. Diana, you wanna go in on the New Day a little bit? I mean, this is a pretty big team, so.
I mean, I expected them to go to SmackDown, but with Kofi being injured, I think that it's just gonna take a while. Do we know how long he's gonna be out for?
He's only supposed to be out for a month and a half. He's
Well,
had
that's
some
not that bad.
he had some minor surgery. It wasn't.
Oh, I thought it was more. Okay, so it's okay.
Yeah, he'll be
I think when they come back, it'll be a lot different. Who said it? Immortal said it. I also heard that Vince wanted Big E to have a solo run and keep Kofi and Xavier as the New Day, I think is what I heard. I'm not so sure if that was what I heard. I heard that they wanted to like break them up.
Well, the New Day was originally supposed to be the NOD, the Return of the Nation, and they decided to be a little more charismatic and goofy, and thus we got the New Day. And I could see that. I mean, there's no reason to split them up. I think that they work
there's really
perfect
not.
together.
I think they'll work on SmackDown. I think they were getting boring on Raw because they did it all on Raw. You know. They could hold the SmackDown titles for a little bit if they wanted.
And they could even they could even still be together and kind of, you know, maybe have Big E flirt with like a singles run or something like that and whatnot, but still have them be the New Day like together and have them come out with him when he does his singles matches. And they could do stuff like that. Like they don't have to break up the New Day like to do different things on SmackDown than what they did on Raw.
Right.
I feel like the SmackDown writing team is a million times better than the Raw one, so I'm sure they can come up with good things for the New Day to do to fill up time and keep them relevant.
All right. So the next guy, Sami Zayn.
Richie, don't make anyone mad.
Look, this is all I'm gonna say. Sami Zayn, 2 matches. And he's taken the pinfall in both those matches.
I think they're waiting. I think they're doing that, and then he's gonna have his big moment by SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam he's gonna have his moment.
Can I just say, why is he on SmackDown?
Because he should have been on SmackDown at the beginning. I think they really ruined it. That he wasn't to SmackDown
I just don't want him and Kevin Owens on the same show.
Exactly.
You have to realize, if Sammy was drafted to SmackDown back in July, he could have been at the top. Like, I could have seen him easily bidding one of those upper mid-carders or even try to go for the WWE title. Nowadays, today, I don't know. I think eventually he'll get it. He'll have that big moment. But I don't know. I think he's just lost now. I'm just pissed that he's still not winning.
I'm so underwhelmed by Zayn. He's the guy there taking the pinfall in the mid card. I don't think he's going to improve, but hopefully he does.
But was it here that we talked about it or someplace else? There's Nakamura on SmackDown now. Put Sammy in something with Nakamura just for the heck of it and give us another match of the year. Because that was an amazing match.
And Zayn Ziggler could be a really good match. Like, Zayn AJ Styles could be a good match.
There's good matches there. There's good matches with Generico.
Even Zayn Randy Orton.
When AJ wins the title, make Zayn go. That's Zayn's moment, I think. I would like to see AJ versus Zayn for the title and have Sami Zayn win. Like, that has to be it. He has to win the title.
Zayn needs to get rid of the stupid Blue Thunder Bomb. He does that way too often, and it just doesn't work against. It doesn't look like he's capable of doing it. That's one of the moves that he does that it doesn't look like he should realistically be doing because of his size, and he's not. He's clearly not the strongest guy in there. I like Zayn though. I do. I think that Sami Zayn though is nothing more than
you didn't seem to like him on the wrestling thing, making everyone mad.
Well, because Sami Zayn to me is, look, he's got great feuds that you can put him with, but he's the lovable loser. Like, that's what he's gonna be. And I honestly don't think Sami Zayn's character is that good. He just whines, bitches, and complains. I want to see Sami Zayn taken off TV for a couple of months. I want to see him come back, refocused. I feel like he's been overexposed. Hasn't been done any favors on Raw. And look, right now, if you tell me Sami Zayn's a heavyweight champ, I laugh at you. Because I don't see it. I think he's just average.
But people couldn't see it with Daniel Bryan either. Like, he's a small guy, but he's super over with the fans. He's got a very good wrestling style. I feel like his moveset is like really, really great. I feel like his underdog like status and gimmick is really, really good, and I feel like he can put across main event matches. Just like look at the match that he had with Nakamura. Like they tore the house down back in the day.
They tore the house down at an NXT show where there's marks that'll cheer for anything that amplify and
so you mean to tell me that wasn't 4.5 to 5 star match,
No.
Richie?
Or wait, what
That
match? Wait, what
That
match?
was a
Nakamura Zayn.
That
Really?
was a 3.5 star match.
No, it was not. Oh.
Oh boy. Okay. Before we go any further with that,
Zayn isn't over. You hear
let's
the crowd
go.
reaction? AC Styles, I don't know if you need to get your ears checked.
Oh no, Sami
your
Zayn.
reaction.
Hey, he gets a pop when he comes out, and then no one gives a shit because he always takes the pinfall. Sami Zayn is the guy in there who's gonna take the pinfall. I like Sami Zayn's work. I think he's a good wrestler. I think he will at some point mount to more than the pile of shit that they book him in. But no, Sami Zayn right now is like, I don't give a fuck. Get him off TV. I don't want to watch him anymore. The end. How about the Shining Stars?
No.
AKA, the Cologne.
Wait, I have a question. My only question about them, because I could care less, honestly.
Go ahead.
Where has Carlito been mentioned?
So, on Talking Smack, Carlito's name got dropped. And then on SmackDown, his name got dropped 4 or 5 times during commentary.
Wait,
with,
this past week?
Yeah, with Bully Bradshaw Layfield.
I didn't get to watch wrestling this week, really. I only saw like
because
2
now they're
things.
calling them the Colognes, so it's like they almost have to bring up Carlito. Like it only makes sense.
I like the Colons. I think that they're great.
I thought that I thought that they've always, had talent, and I think Epico and Primo both can wrestle good. But it's just like they've done so much stuff that has like literally killed their credibility. To where it's like they were just the shining stars and barely winning ever, and if they did, it was like very like schoolboy cheap. It was a surprise victory. And even before that, when they were like Los Matadores, it's like, come on, like I just can't believe that these guys are like credible anymore. Like if they won the SmackDown Tag Team belts, they will not elevate the titles. The titles will not elevate them. It's just like they're a lost cause anymore. Just let them be the enhancement talents that they were meant to be. You wanna push a tag team on SmackDown to be main event level guys. Bring over the freaking club like you should have.
Well, there's a couple. So SmackDown's
now,
writing.
Luckily, the club, since the Revival's injured, now the club doesn't. They're going to be, the top heels for a while on Raw since the Revival got injured. But whatever.
So the Colognes, Epico's a really good worker. Primo's always been solid. Both of those guys have tremendous talent, and I'd actually like to see the Colognes versus the Usos. Maybe the Colognes can have a face turn at some point. I could see them having some money matches with the Usos.
If Carlito came back, the crowd would go nuts. I think that they could turn face then.
Carlito's kind of their missing point. I think if Carlito returns,
I mean, he even said in an interview recently if the money was right, he'd come back.
But the Colognes, to me, like, they're not jobbers. Like, yeah, they've been Los Matadores and the Shining Stars trying to sell things in Puerto Rico. But, they gave Titus O'Neil that job as selling Puerto Rico cruise lines with Apollo Crews. So now the Colognes can focus in on being the wrestling machines that they are. And I like SmackDown. SmackDown stripped them of their gimmick and they said, here you go, you're the Colognes. Go for it. Diana, what are you posting in the chat?
Sorry.
No Days Off? Yeah, that's Darren Young back in the day. He was Goku. He was the Black Goku.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
You know what? Let's go on someone who botches everything.
No.
Did you even talk about him? He hasn't even wrestled on Superstars in the last year. Well, that's probably all he's been on is Superstars, and he's probably gonna come over. He's probably gonna be a jobber a couple of times a year on SmackDown. Other than that, he's gonna be on whatever the SmackDown main event or Superstars, whichever one is the one tied to SmackDown before the show starts. He's gonna wrestle on there, and that's it.
He's gonna get into more fights with people backstage too. Right? Is that the one, or is that Kalisto? Who was the one that has anger management?
That was him.
That's
him.
him.
Oh,
Him and Simon Gotch were the two. So now that Simon Gotch is gone, I
Didn't
guess
Gotch
he can-
get bitch slapped down though?
Yeah.
he's just gonna get into more fights. Anyway, next person.
Hold up. You know what? This is all I'm
But
gonna
this
say.
next person wasn't exactly a draft or pick.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let Richie talk about Sin Cara, and then the next one I don't.
That's all I'm gonna say about that shirt. That's the reason why I always have hope for Sin Cara.
Oh my god.
The WWE official dick
The
shirt.
penis shirt, yeah.
You could have bought that. It's actually a thing. So the next two, or the next three actually, are the females. We'll move KO down a little bit to talk about him at the end.
So
Okay, Tamina. Any thoughts on Tamina? I have zero
she's
thoughts
a
on her.
waste of a person in the shakeup. She should have been on SmackDown like before the shake. You can't, like GQ said, you can't even count her as part of the shakeup because she was already scheduled to be on SmackDown anyway. And they kind of wasted her because Shane was saying, "Oh, it's a what a second what is she? Second generation?
Yeah.
Superstar? I don't." And everybody thought it was gonna be Charlotte, and then she comes out and she got no reaction. Nobody cares. I'm sorry to say, nobody seemed to care about Tamina.
You know how they should have made her come back? Either A, costing Naomi a match, and then she would feud with Naomi, or B, have her come back and help Naomi when Naomi's getting beat down by a bunch of heels, and then she could be a face. That
That's
would give
what
her
I
some
read.
sort of reaction.
I read she was coming back as a face, and she should have been a part of the WrestleMania match.
You know what's interesting though? The name Snuka is starting to come back into the wrestling fold, which for someone like a certain Chris, can't say his last name.
But with Tamina, it's even then on this past SmackDown, she was backstage with Natalya and Carmella, and they were just all three standing there as Charlotte was coming through them, and it was acting well, what's her problem? She's just coming into our ground. It's Tamina hasn't even been there. Why was she in that spot? It makes zero sense. Hopefully they do something with her and she's not just a waste of talent. But she was never really a super great wrestler anyway, so whatever.
No, I don't care for her. I don't know. I just thought that was stupid when she came out. I'm she's not really somebody from Raw, so you can't. That was a waste of a spot. I feel like Emma could have gone on to SmackDown, or even put Sasha on SmackDown, but whatever.
Yeah,
I have zero thoughts on her.
Okay, so then
SmackDown is very heel heavy for their women's division.
Okay, then next is Charlotte, who belongs on SmackDown.
Charlotte Flair is the best female
just call her Charlotte.
worker. No, I'm calling her Charlotte Flair because she's got, hold up, on Talking Smack, she did mention that she was the dirtiest player in the game. I like Charlotte. I'm a big Charlotte Flair fan. I'm sorry you can't recognize talent, Diana. That's not your fault. That's just how you were born. Don't worry. You'll do better with some
Excuse me?
Please don't kill me.
So annoying and so tiring, and I'm sick of the same thing with her. She's already getting a title shot. That's not even if she becomes the first person to hold both the Raw and the SmackDown Women's title, and then she becomes a 5-time SmackDown Women's champion, I'm flipping out. Just because of her last name.
So,
and then it's going to be the same thing over and over again.
Look, I think that the reason first of all, she's a ring general. I don't care what anyone wants to say. Her and Becky Lynch are the ring generals on SmackDown, with Natty being in there who can have a good match. Nikki Bella's lower than dog shit, so no one cares when she wrestles. And then you've got Naomi, who has been really sloppy recently. Naomi has been super slopzilla in all of her matches. I think that taking the belt off Charlotte and letting Naomi work on wrestling in general might be better, because she's got everything going for her except working. Her work is just, it's real cringeworthy.
Who?
Naomi.
Oh yeah,
What?
did you even see their match on SmackDown? She Naomi botched 3 or 4 spots. It was bad. I was like, dude, like Charlotte freaking was having these like really, really great matches on Raw with Bailey and freaking and Sasha, and then
And
now
like
she's
her last
coming over,
match on Raw with Nia Jax.
and now she's coming over and is having these like is having a really bad match with Naomi, and it was in no way Charlotte's fault. It was
No.
Naomi missing spots.
Yeah, Naomi's doesn't look. Keep her in the title run. Take the belt off of her.
Naomi can't hang with her. I think
Yeah.
Charlotte versus Natalya is a great feud. I think even like Charlotte versus
Becky again.
Becky, yeah, that's definitely a great feud. Charlotte versus Nikki Bella would probably even be better than
That's
Naomi.
when Charlotte actually won, she said. And I'm like, really? That's like really downgrading you, but okay. I don't know. Nikki's not as talented as Charlotte. I'll give her that much.
How about this next one? This one blows my mind.
Even though what you have written here, I think is absolute garbage, but
Lana! Lana is getting a push. Lana was, if you saw footage of her, she was doing, and I quote, the women's spin-a-rooney in NXT.
but I don't think that is what was said here. Like, not Emelina 2.0. I think if anything, it's like a fandango kind of dancing thing that she was doing. Because she was doing that before she went down to the ring and wrestled. In that outfit that she was wearing, whew, dang, she's hot.
She's pretty solid. I've never seen her wrestle, so I can't comment.
She wrestled at WrestleMania last year.
Yo,
But she did better than
it was
Eva
so
Marie.
bad.
She did better, but she did better than Eva Marie.
Yeah, well, that
It
doesn't
wasn't
take
that
time.
bad.
Well, I mean, I might have taken a piss break every time I rewatched that
Lana,
WrestleMania.
if you rewatch that match, Lana literally stood on the outside of the ring. She took like one bump, but other than that, she just stood on the outside of the ring the whole
She
time.
did a big kick and a Bella Buster, I think.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Lana. I'll let you guys, if there's anything else you guys want to add.
She's been doing house shows for NXT or something like that.
I think that this is just her giving her something to do while waiting for Rusev to come back, and I feel like that this is like just to get her name and Rusev's name out there on SmackDown, so that when Rusev does come back, that it's like, oh, well, here he is finally like back, and I don't think it's them breaking them up. It could lead to mixed tag matches. It could lead to a Lana and Rusev versus John Cena and Nikki Bella match.
Oh,
But
God.
I think because she's on Total Divas, they might be changing her again. I think she might have dropped the accent with this new thing coming up. Because she doesn't have the accents on Total Divas. Blah, 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 blah.
Where did her accent mysteriously go?
Yeah, she doesn't have it. Like, she has an accent, but she just forces it to be more. But yeah, she's really from like.
No,
the
she's
South.
born in the States and raised in the
Yeah.
States. She has
She
no Russian
did like
accent.
grow up over there though, and came back, I think. But like, she's born in like what, Tennessee? Her name is CJ. Like, come on, right? Whatever. But you know,
I like Lana. I liked her. I thought she was the best ballet.
she's pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a real asset to the WWE.
She's got, yeah, I know. She's quite a knockout. Anyway,
I mean, she's been the butt of some jokes for a while, but I mean, she's
she's rearing into form. She's
Yes.
rearing into form. All right, so we're gonna skip. We're gonna go to him next, but let's go to Kevin Owens right now.
Right.
Sorry that I'm
The
jumping the
face
script a little
Of
bit.
America.
He is. I
What
love
was
Kevin
that?
Owens' gimmick. How about his shave? Kevin Owens'
Dude, his
shave.
shave bothers me.
but that was it only lasted a week. Last week he was already sporting the scruff.
Good. I don't like him unshaved.
I
I
like
don't think
his
he
shave.
likes him unshaven.
I like his shaven. I think that that suits him. Kevin Owens is like, he cracks
Kevin
me
Owens
up.
can't do anything wrong in my book, so.
Hey,
he's
I used to be down on KO, and I've caught on to KO, and I will admit when I'm wrong. Unlike with Sami Zayn, and I will
Don't
say
mention it.
Cammy's-
Just stop.
I will say Kevin Owens is.
Let it go. Let it go.
Kevin Owens is definitely a solid, like, at least one of the top 10 best overall wrestlers. Promos, work, carries himself, does everything right. KO is the man, and I I don't care what anyone wants to say. I wish his body, he would get into better shape a little bit. But
I don't think. Why do people
whatever.
say he's out of shape? I think he's fine.
Because when he walks down to the ring, he does that thing where if you have like 10 chins, like, and you
I
basically
don't know.
like,
I guess I just don't notice it. I guess I just don't care. I don't know. Everybody else cares about how he looks. I'm like, why?
I don't care how he looks.
I like
but
his work. I feel like he's just got this like gritty prize fighter kind of feel to him, and then I just love his like he is like the epitome of like a heel or a villain, just like the way he talks and like he just cracks me up. Like he's just so good at being bad.
I'm a big fan of Mr. KO, and I hope that we get to see more Kevin Owens stuff in the future.
I hope that he gets a world title run. I mean, him as U.S. champion's fine for now, but it's like, the sky's the limit for that guy.
He still needs his.
And I cannot believe that like his first feud is gonna be him and AJ. Like I was like, whenever I had moved him over to SmackDown on my thing, I was like, if him and AJ are on the same show, their matches are gonna freaking tear the house down. Like
him and AJ,
legit.
him and Nakamura, like he's got some serious.
Yeah,
He's got some
him
serious
and
competition.
Nakamura.
Now here's the thing I'm gonna say. This did him favors because I wasn't gonna see Kevin Owens take the belt off Brock.
Yeah,
as much as
no.
people wanted to see him take the belt off Brock. What I thought they should have done, and I kind of wish they did, was Kevin Owens versus Goldberg, and Kevin Owens does the spot that Bret Hart did with the metal chest protector, and just let Goldberg spear himself out. That would have been a great spot. I wish that they did something with that, because I feel like that's Kevin Owens' character in a nutshell.
Yeah, for sure. That would have been awesome.
That would have been KO's. That's the only wasted moment. But Kevin Owens has he's
gonna be the top heel in
Yeah.
SmackDown for at least this coming year.
I think that at least until Baron Corbin transitions there. But KO getting off of Raw was perfect for him. There wasn't really a whole lot left for him to do.
Yep.
So this happened apparently. Jinder Mahal, a.k.a. Jinder Mahalamania,
AKA has not won a singles match since 2012, is now your number one chicken tender for the WWE World Championship.
he's going to wrestle the appendix punter, Randy Snorton, because everyone snores when Randy's around. I feel so bad for Chicago. How did they fuck this up?
Wait, I forgot. That's really in Chicago.
It's in Chicago and it's sold out.
Do they do this on purpose now to get the reaction out of the fan? Like people are getting pissed off with the CM Punk chants. This match has that written all over it.
Oh my god!
I think upper management is just like, let's just get the crowd going with CM Punk chants.
If they can really though, I mean they have a month or so to build this up. Like if they can really build up Jinder as like a legitimate number one contender, like we always complain as wrestling fans that there's nothing new, that nobody gets pushed to the top of the card. And it's like, I might not be the biggest fan of Jinder Mahal. I might think that he's on steroids.
No, he's not.
Lloyd Mahal.
Look.
I might think that
I don't care.
That
His body freaks me out.
He gives concussions to.
Did he actually
Finn
get a
Balor.
concussion? Because he was back on Raw. I was like, it was just.
No,
a
he didn't
scratch.
get a concussion.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, that was a scratch on ring burn. Look, he got pushed way too fast, and that's what annoys me.
But it's because of them making it appealing to their India market, because they're expanding into India or something along with India. That's why he's the number one contender. If they weren't doing that, he would not be the number one contender, most likely. I don't know. But it's because they want to appeal
But maybe
to their new...
they want Jinder, like, maybe they just want Jinder to look good on SmackDown, but then, like, why would you have him lose in his first match against Mojo Rawley when he first came over? You know what I mean? Like, It just seems like it's out of nowhere, and that this is very sporadic and spontaneous. But if they can build him up with like having him with the Singe brothers or Singh brothers or however the heck they're saying
The Bollywood
their name
boys.
now. Well, I know that they're really the Bollywood boys, but that's not what they're going to be called in WWE. They're the Singh brothers or something like that.
But
This was done way
Right.
too quickly,
Yes.
and this reminds me of when Bob Holly challenged Brock Lesnar for the belt, or I'm trying to think,
Good old
or when-
Spark Plug Holly.
or R-Truth challenged Cena for the belt. Like, the difference is those guys, they were somewhat competent. Like Jinder, excuse me.
That's what Diana called him. By the way, if you guys weren't here 2 weeks ago, that's what Diana called him, was
I
Ginger.
don't even remember
That's why-
myself saying that.
Ginger
Ginger.
Maholemania.
That's why. No, you were
Brother.
even calling when we were coming back from Hershey Park. You were even.
I
saying
said it
the
again,
same
but I was like, I don't think I said it though. I was driving.
That's why this is like a joke now. That's why we're calling him Ginger Mahal.
As I'm
Because
Yeah.
driving, and I said like,
Oh,
Um,
Dude,
boy.
Popsky, you should join us sometime.
Popsky.
Yeah, we'll rotate people in and out. Popsky and I, we have a similar look, so he can just kind
We
of.
could have like 4. You two could
Okay,
be the
cover me.
heels, and GQ and I could be the.
God, we could. I want Lucha might come on one of these weeks. Anyway, this is done way too quickly. This was rushed. This was terrible. I give this angle a 0 out of 5. They failed. This is worse than my vag, which you've
But see,
never seen.
People are talking
Watch
like this
it.
is all over wrestling, like news and stuff. It's got shock factor. And
Did
if
you
they can-
hear his promo?
I'm not saying that it's a good thing, but you give it a couple weeks of build up, see where it goes. If it goes nowhere, then like we know that it is what you're saying. I think that it's probably gonna be bad, very cringeworthy. But
Yes. CM Punk. CM Punk.
He called himself the New American Dream. And Shane's like, no, you dumbass. Dusty Rhodes is the American Dream.
Did he really?
Yes, he kept calling himself the New American Dream in the most cringeworthy smacking or talking smack segment I've seen. It was bad. Anyway, so real quick, I guess, what stars do you think probably benefited from the most from the shakeup?
We already go over this.
which star that didn't move though?
Yeah, like which star
Oh!
that didn't move maybe
The
benefited the
club.
most?
Wait, that didn't move.
No.
Benefited. Oh, sorry. Never mind.
They
No.
benefited at least. I think they should have been moved.
They should have been moved. Yeah.
I feel like AJ Styles probably benefited the most. Him staying on SmackDown was the good. I think him being on Raw wouldn't have been bad, but I also feel like Braun Strowman staying on Raw was really good for him.
The person who I felt like benefited the most out of all of this is Strowman on Raw. I don't,
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of locked into a feud. And Rollins. Rollins,
Really?
I think
I
Rollins
think
is
if
very
Rollins would have
forgotten.
moved, I feel like it would have been good for him.
Well, I feel like he's going to move next time they have a shakeup, whatever.
I mean, him and Samoa Joe are probably gonna have a great match here at the next
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
Are you going to sing your Samoan Joe song?
Fat, 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 fat.
On SmackDown, I think Becky Lynch might have been the best person who didn't move because I feel like she's kind of
She hasn't even
forgotten.
really been, she's very forgotten.
And
But that doesn't make it a good thing though, because maybe if she would have moved over, the eyes would have been on her then because she would have been relevant because she moved.
I think though she's going to become relevant again.
Well, yeah, if her and Charlotte have a feud for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, couple of tidbits now from
Well,
the
Diana
wrestling
didn't say
world.
hers.
Oh,
I agree
Diana?
with you. AJ Styles. I agree with the whole AJ Styles
Yeah.
thing. I think the roster on SmackDown is amazing for him.
Yep.
I'm mad the club still didn't move.
Yeah, I'm so mad the club didn't move. I like literally whenever that main event was going on, I was like, dude, the club's gonna come out and help him. And then it ended with him winning, and like no club comes out, and I'm just like,
I
were
think
pretty
I threw my
sad.
phone on my bed. I was like, okay, this is.
I literally just felt like a kid who like had a present under the tree and thought that it was like a Nintendo Switch, and instead it was like a box of like cookies or something. I'm just like, darn
What's
it.
wrong with cookies? I'd say
Okay,
like
not cookies.
a shirt.
A box,
You got
a box with like undershirts in it.
you got a box of socks for Christmas.
Yeah. I felt
So-
like that was me when the club didn't get moved to SmackDown. I was like, darn it.
all right. So next, Diana, you're not so much into New Japan, but
No,
there
you guys
were-
can talk.
there were a couple of really big things that happened in New Japan. Unfortunately, the first topic we're gonna hit on was the Shibata headbutt. Let me link it to you guys. If you haven't seen Shibata, he's easily like the Japanese version of Kurt Angle, I'd probably say, GQ. Maybe like Ken Shamrock, Kurt Angle, a guy who's just like a solid wrestling machine.
He's just like he's like a BA. He'd be like the kind of guy who you would like see in like one of those like action like movies, you know, with like Jean-Claude Van Damme or something like that. He's just like a real life BA.
You look at him and you know you don't want to mess with him. Like, he has that presence like Ming. He's just... And he's a great worker. He was starting to break through, and if you don't know what happened, he delivered probably the most sickening headbutt I've ever seen. A straight, legit headbutt to their heavyweight champ, Okada.
Their heads cracking.
Viewer discretion advised watching that video. And he ended up in the hospital, paralyzed at some point, half of his body paralyzed. So, I asked this to you, Diana, as well. Hard shots on the head. We went through we know everything about concussions. A lot of people are complaining that refs stop matches because you see blood. I'm going to put this to any sort of bodily injury. Is it time where we start treating them and making sure the wrestlers are okay, even if it means the matches have to slow down? And is it time maybe that we start banning some of these moves, like the pile driver is already being phased out, the headbutt should be phased out?
Well, WWE, they kind of are.
Well,
though.
they are, but I mean, like...
It's New Japan, they do all that crazy
No,
crap
they
over
don't
there.
do the pile driver very often in New Japan. They pretty much phased that out.
Isn't that why they stopped
they
chair
do.
shots in that?
Who does the pile? They do, like, the weird, like, dragon suplex, like, shooting arrow moves.
We do still do like thunder drivers and
Yeah, but they don't do the actual, like, sit-down pile driver anymore, your traditional pile driver. So I'm asking you, like, do you think wrestling would be just as entertaining without these sorts of spots? Do you need these sorts of spots for it to be entertaining? And do you care if that somebody comes in and checks on the health of the wrestler during the match?
I think in a way, it depends. I think. I don't know. I'm very torn on that because it's like, yes, they're human beings, but like, for example, I feel like if I go back, this has nothing to do with like a serious head injury, but going back to NXT TakeOver Dallas, where Finn was facing Joe and he got busted open or something, and they came to check on him, like, it took away from what the match was. It ruined the match, in my opinion. I sometimes it ruins the match. Other times I understand. I don't know. I don't even know.
I mean,
I feel like
sorry.
Japanese strong style in general has like made it to where like it's just so expected for people to go out and do stuff like that, especially in Japan. Like the way Nakamura works, like he's a pretty stiff worker, and like I mean he already freaking in WWE alone, he's already like busted up Samoa Joe's orbital socket. He's like, I mean, he is, you know, like a stiff worker. And I mean, he learned that in Japan, and Japan's even more stiff. Like every time I watch New Japan Wrestling, it's like, it's almost like it's like real, like way more than WWE.
Yeah.
Like WWE, it seems like you can tell like that, you know, they're not going for the head, they're not doing stuff like that. Whereas like Japan is just, it's such a stiff working style. And And on top of it, it's like Shibata, who's known as a BA, who's known to be a guy who, has like such a high tolerance for pain as the whole time he was the never open weight champion and stuff. It's like, it is a scary thing. And I don't think Japan's going to change though, because that's the style that they push, is this like, we're borderline realistic. Like, we're borderline real because of the fact that like they are doing these moves that would literally mess people up. And it sucks that it had to end Shibata's career. I hope that, at some point maybe he will be all right and get cleared, but
he's not going to return. That's worse than the Daniel Bryan incident.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was Samoa Joe's jaw. It was Austin Aries' eye socket. My bad. I mixed the two injuries up, but yeah, he's injured a couple people already.
I think the Japanese strong style is like ECW, and it's becoming more
in a way, but not the hardcore aspect of it.
No, but the aspect,
but the stiffness of it.
Yeah, the aspect that you have to be super stiff. Like, got to a point where we were suddenly desensitized from a lot of the hardcore wrestling. Like
you even watch an Okada Omega 6-star match. And it's like,
ooh, there was that dragon suplex.
Yeah, freaking A. Like, there's so many moves in that match that like were just risks that didn't necessarily need to be taken. And thank God neither Okada or Omega got any like serious injuries out of that match.
Well, they're reporting that Okada has a minor concussion now. So,
well, Okada just worked last night in a tag match.
Yeah, of course, but he didn't work
against Fale and Omega. And he took the pinfall clean to Faye because he's fighting Bad Luck Faye at the next event, next main event.
Okay, so this is where I stand. I think that doctors stopping matches actually adds a realistic aspect.
Oh, for sure.
Like, when you see UFC, they stop, they say, go check with the doctor. Maybe having a doctor ringside next to the ring bell, or the ring keeper, wouldn't be the worst thing for the WWE. There's nothing like, yeah, people get upset, but I don't want to see that Randy Orton where he was just gushing with blood profusely, and they refused to have medical attention come out there for him because he was busted the hard way. I don't want to see that sort of stuff.
But didn't they end up calling that match by that?
Yeah,
like he didn't end up hitting, and he just
called, but that was planned. But he got busted the hard way, and it's stupid. You don't need that, And I feel like I hope that they take the talent back there, and they tell them to slow down, because there's a wrestler who I like a lot in the WWE, Jack Gallagher, who one of his trademark moves is a headbutt, and he throws a stiff headbutt too.
But he doesn't usually throw it to the head, though. He does it to, the chest.
So, I hope Okada comes back. I hope that Okada... I don't want to see him wrestle anymore. I feel like his brain has been damaged to the
Shibata?
point... Or Shibata, yeah, excuse me. Shibata comes back. Sorry. And he comes back, maybe does commentary, or he comes back and maybe trains people. I don't want to see him wrestle anymore. I don't want to see someone like him... have serious injuries because he's given so much to the business. So
did he drop the British Heavyweight Championship before
he dropped
injured?
It.
Okay,
yeah, he did drop it. I think that Shibata is definitely going to be in feuding with Naito here, probably for the next January 4th show, is how they had it penciled in after the G1 Climax. Anyway, speaking of Okada, is he the best wrestler right now? Not in the WWE? Not in the WWE ring?
No.
You're going to say... I know who you're going to say.
You know who I'm going to say.
You're going to say Kenny Omega?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega is
okay,
the elite. The elite.
I think Okada...
Okada is so great, too. Like, I'm not trying to dog him. I like a lot of those New Japan guys that are like right up there. Those two, I would put Naito right up there with them as just because Naito might not be as great.
Naito's just as good. Naito.
But he's got
just
such an awesome ring presence.
Naito's just as good. And Naito is the Shawn Michaels right now of the Attitude Era, when Shawn Michaels would be such a mark for himself. That's what Naito is, and he deserves it. And lastly, from New Japan, what we're gonna go over real quick is the Sakura Genesis pay-per-view. That's kind of what their Backlash would be. Just a minor pay-per-view. It's nothing too big. But there was some really good matches on there. I don't know how much of the pay-per-view you saw.
I watched the main event, and then I watched like a couple of other matches in there.
You
but
watched
not really.
Ishii and Yano versus Omega and Fale.
Yeah, I watched that, and then
Pretty
I
good.
also I forget the other match I watched. I watched the tag team championship match with Hanson
War
and
Machine
winning.
War Machine. Hey, War Machine they have the look, and
Yeah, I mean I've always liked their work in ROH. I was kind of pissed how they won the ROH tag belts a couple years ago when what's his face Matt Taven jacked up his leg, and then like Mike Bennett just like basically took a pinfall right away. It wasn't really the best way to go down, especially because I was a big Kingdom mark in those days, because I freaking love ROH, and I loved Maria Kanellis, and just that whole the Kingdom was great. But
yeah,
that's neither here nor there. But I mean, I've always thought that like Hanson's like a really great worker. Rowe is all right. Like he's kind of forgettable a lot of times in my opinion. But I mean that was they had a decent match where they took the belts, and I mean I don't really like Kojima, so
I thought Beretta and Romero had
or tens in either of them.
Beretta, Romero, and Yoshihashi had a fairly strong match. Seeing Takamichi Noku, by the way, that was pretty sweet to see.
Goto and Zack Sabre Jr. was probably good. I didn't watch that one.
That was one of the ones I was gonna recommend. And then
I did see Takahashi Kushida. I did watch that match.
That match has been done to death, but those guys are great workers. Kushida is
Takahashi's next feud is gonna be legit though. Him and Ricochet going at it. A.K. Prince Puma for anyone who watches Lucha Underground. Well, even though he's not there anymore, but Ricochet is awesome.
By the way, real quick, the ticking time bomb might be my favorite gimmick in wrestling right now, outside of Naito being the leader. I love the ticking time bomb gimmick. And then the last match that I'm going to recommend, and I think that this was probably the best match on the show. Let me go and find it. It was a 4-man tag.
Yeah. When Richie had his long hair and stuff, like whenever the first time I ever saw Hanson wrestle, that's what I thought. I was like, dude, Hanson looks like freaking Big Richie, like with like the long beard and that like long red hair and stuff. I was like, dude, freaking this Richie.
The Juice Robinson, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Raizuke Taguchi, and Ricochet beating Los Inglables.
L.I.J. just call
L.I.J. defeating L.I.J.
Stay up on. It's like don't even try it.
That if you like that had good psychology. Juice Robinson, for you guys that don't know, is CJ Parker from NXT. Hiroshi Tanahashi is probably
who has really upped his game, by the way, as Juice Robinson on in New Japan.
Yeah, Hiroshi Tanahashi is, I guess he's their equivalent of what Shawn Michaels was. He's
I'd say he's John
getting up
Cena there. He's older, he's still there, and he's still relevant.
But he can he had some.
People say he was like he was their Hogan in some ways, which I can kind of agree with. He does like the air guitar thing and stuff. Speaking of Tanahashi though, I do not like his new freaking his new ring music
entrance.
I wish he would just go back to his old song, like for crying out loud. I know they're not going to, at least not for a while. But
and a quick note, Sonata's new shirt, get it? It looks really badass. I've tried to get it. It's sold out. And the orders for the second wave are already
I still need to get
out.
a Bullet Club shirt, like just the traditional one. I keep wanting to, but they cost like $30.
I'm gonna get one. Oh, it's the shipping that kills you.
Yeah.
So that's what happened at New Japan. I posted a link. I'll post it again. If you're wondering or wanting to get into New Japan, for I think it's like $6.99, you can go and
Get New Japan World.
Yeah, go get New Japan World. It's at their site. Kevin Kelly does the ring commentary, which, by the way, he's probably the best commentator in the business right now. Does a great job.
I will not disagree with you there. I'm really, I mean, it's cool, like him and Cyrus the Virus or whatever. It's cool that they're calling it. I do miss freaking what's his face?
The best heel commentator,
Steve Carino.
Yeah,
I miss Carino, but now he's like backstage training in WWE. Apparently, he's like in NXT.
Anyway, if you're into New Japan, there's a Reddit thread if you want to get into it. It's probably some of the most stiff, crazy wrestling. I wouldn't recommend watching it live unless you like being up all night, like I was for the July 4th or the January 4th show, and probably will be up for the climax, but. They're coming to the States. If you're in LA, the show's sold out, but it's a 3-day event in the States, and they'll be in Orange County. I know that. So
they're not coming out here.
No, they're coming just to LA.
No, it's only in LA. Yeah, it's only.
That sucks.
I know, dude. If they came to,
I would have gone. We could have gone.
I would have gone. Yeah, I would have been like, hey guys, we're going.
Speaking about going places, Richie. At the end of June, like the last weekend of June, I'm going to visit Wad. You should try and come out and go to a baseball game with us.
I will try. Anyway.
That's not for this podcast.
Speaking of going places, we had a sad day.
Yes.
That was a sad transition.
Superhero in training. I always thought really good and solid worker, and I wish he would have gotten a monster push. Was Rosie. He passed away.
I always thought that the 3-minute warning should have held the tag belts at some point. Like that was kind of like they were like so over. They were such big guys and stuff. I mean, he ended up getting a title run with the Hurricane, but still, yeah. Jamal and Rosie, decent Samoan.
No, they're both right. Jamal was.
They're both. Yeah,
Umaga.
He was Umaga.
They're
both passed away. I don't know what Rosie passed away from.
Rosie is Roman Reigns' older brother.
He is.
He had congestive
heart failure. Might have.
Did he die from? I don't know if he died from that. I don't know if it was some. I don't know.
I didn't know that he did drugs. I don't know what these guys do after they're done wrestling. I don't, but. Rosie to me was just super entertaining and awesome, and it sucks that he passed away. Just, it's just a reminder. He died
10 days after his 47th birthday in Pensacola, Florida, due to congestive heart failure related to his weight problem.
Gotcha.
So he must have gained a bunch of weight afterwards or something.
But yeah,
I mean, he was already a big boy, but.
You've got him and Vader's not doing so well. Something else sad. Vader took a fall, didn't do well. Where they're touring. Who's going away tour is it that Vader's part of right now? In New Japan? They're not New Japan, in Japan.
Well, he's in Noah or whatever.
Noah, he apparently, from everyone and from the video that got leaked, he had a dizzy spell. He's having some heart problems. He's not doing so well. So, in your thoughts and prayers, just keep those guys in mind. And finally, the last sad bit of news was Shelton Benjamin. Not coming to the WWE. Bad injury at the time. Just bad placement. Kind of sucks. So, would you like to see Shelton? Did he miss his opportunity? Do you want to see him back? What are your thoughts on Mr. Shelton Benjamin, the gold standard?
I mean, it could happen down the road, but I think that right now, the door's not really open for him. It was for a while, and I feel like now both rosters are just pretty packed, and if he did come back, he'd probably just get lost in the shuffle. But I don't think he's going to.
I'd like to see him go to Raw with him and Kurt Angle. I think that they could have some sort of dynamic presence.
He's supposed to be SmackDown.
I know, but I would move him with Angle on Raw. I think I'd like to see that. He definitely does fit the SmackDown branding, though.
Go with freaking Alpha or something, and man.
Diana, anything you want to add? Do you think he missed his opportunity?
About it, but over the months, I kind of just was like, it's not gonna happen. And then I heard that, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, there goes that. I
WrestleMania weekend, apparently he did some interviews where
He did.
like,
He was
uncleared.
at was he at Wrestle? No.
WrestleFest or whatever it's called.
Wrestle was
Yeah.
it Wrestle Wrestle oh, what the
He was at one of the independent wrestling
Yeah,
shows. We'll
so one of my
just go
friends
there.
somebody went, I knew.
But they said he was cleared to wrestle, but like WWE like
It just isn't in talks anymore, apparently. Like,
Yeah.
it's just passed. So it's probably never gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's my view.
Alright, we'll get into some of the wrestling news now in the WWE to wrap up the show. There's 3 big topics I picked. I handpicked these, so if you have any topics that you want to
Biased.
see, yeah.
Well,
if you have-
we'll just make it these 3 because of the fact that we could go on for hours talking about other things, and Richie does have other
I have stuff I have to
apparently.
do. But if
Yeah.
you guys have topics you want us to talk about, you can tweet at me, tweet at GQ, tweet at Diana, or just tweet at all 3 of us, and I'll add it to the script for next podcast.
Can't do
Anyway.
we can't do it next week, or we could.
Well, we could, but
We can
right
do it
before.
before
I mean,
it.
we could
Right
do it-
before.
we could do it this time, like 5 till like 7,
should
and then
do it.
watch
You know,
the pre-show or whatever.
We'll do it this time, and we'll make sure that we pick our pay-per-view guys, the matches.
Yeah, pick
and
our
go
pay-per-view
through it.
matches.
Real quick, I think that probably something that's lost focus right now because of everything else going on is Nakamura's debut, which him and Ziggler, and I've got a question, like, what if Ziggler goes out there and steals the show? Like, what if Ziggler goes out there and has the match that we all know Ziggler's capable of having with Nakamura?
I
What
think it'll get
happens?
overshadowed by Nakamura.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that you can overshadow Nakamura. He's just too big of a
Just his
personality.
entrance alone overshadow.
I think that they will have a good match, and I think that Ziggler will sell well. I think Ziggler still is a solid hand, and if he actually cares, he can go out there and have a good match. And I think that he will. And I heard that their dark match was really
I was going
good.
to say, I actually saw the next morning when I was getting ready for work, people had live streamed the whole match, and it was up on YouTube, and it was like a 15-minute match or something like that, or a 10-minute match, something like that. It was really good.
I hope those guys get longer than 10 to 15.
Well, it's a pay-per-view. I think they will. I think they'll probably get about like 20, maybe 25.
20 to
If we're lucky.
25, yeah, and those guys can tear the house down. I think this actually elevates Ziggles. I think Ziggles was stuck in a bad spot, and I like his heel gimmick now. It's growing on me. He went from being this cookie cutter, cheesy, bad, like wasn't really getting over with the heat, to I am that damn good. I'm Dolph Ziggler. I don't know who you are. I don't care who you are. You're some Nakamura guy who I've heard about things about from the bingo halls and those sorts of things. You're not, me. You haven't wrestled the WWE style. You haven't wrestled the best in the WWE. I'm that guy. Like, I like Ziggler as a very arrogant, cocky heel, and I'm just super excited to see what him and Nakamura can do. I haven't watched the dark match. I've refused to let myself watch any of those matches, but they've been going and touring right now on the SmackDown tour, and apparently they're closing the show every night and they're tearing the house down. People are saying that these are some of the best matches that no one's ever seen. And there was a report from the last one that there was a camera crew there filming it, so maybe we could see, one of those matches you don't see on Raw or SmackDown, the DVD things they release every year. Maybe we can see one of those hidden gems, because I think these guys are probably 2 of the top 5 workers in the WWE right now. I don't think that there's really any question on that when they both want to work. So I'm very excited about that. Up next, Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman flipping over ambulances and destroying
Turning
Roman
into the number 1
Reigns.
face on Monday Night Raw.
Oh my god. Why don't you go ahead, GQ? Go ahead on this, because I know Diana's going to have a lot to say.
Diana can go
Oh.
first.
About what? Sorry,
I just feel like I'm like stealing a lot of stuff that she would say because we have a lot of the same opinions.
Well, Roman
Oh,
Reigns
you're
and
first.
Braun Strowman, Diana.
Don't have to-
Okay, yes, nothing to say, so
no. Like, in what sense? Like, I personally don't care. I personally could care less. What Braun Strowman did to Roman, amazing. People actually thought it was real. What got me was people actually thought. I know it wasn't really Roman on the stretcher. I know he got out of the ambulance. People actually believed he was really thrown off the stretcher.
I thought he was.
And I was like, no, look at the arm on the stretcher. There's no tattoo. You could even see the shadows of them all getting out of the ambulance.
Oh my god, stop destroying kayfabe,
I'm
Diana!
sorry, but I mean, it made me laugh that people were like, he really was in the ambulance. I'm like, what? Like, this whole thing isn't doing, he's not really injured. Like, I wish he was really injured is what I'm trying to get at here. I wish he was really in the ambulance and got flipped over.
After all that, how are you going to have him 2 weeks later come back and be at the pay-per-view and more than likely be the main event? That's just stupid. And
he's Superman.
If Braun Strowman does not win this match, this is the biggest injustice in wrestling. Like, you cannot have Roman Reigns beat Braun Strowman again. I thought after he beat him the first time, that was it for Braun Strowman's push. I thought it was over. They built up his credibility again. Because, I mean, he didn't even have a real match at WrestleMania. So now it's like you have a chance to build up Braun Strowman again, make him into the certified BA that we know he is, have him just wreck shop on Raw, have him then feud with Brock Lesnar, and hopefully take the belt off Lesnar, even though some people are saying that Lesnar's going to hold on to the belt for a whole year, which I don't think he's going to. I
think that he's going to hold the belt for a year, personally.
I think he's dropping the belt before that, and I don't think he's in there. Like, I don't think that they plan WrestleMania a year ahead of time.
I've been hearing a lot of rumors about his next opponent, it being Braun Strowman, and then somebody else, and then Roman Reigns. I can only hope that he loses the title at SummerSlam to one of the three opponents, which I've heard rumored. I really don't. I personally do not want to see Roman Reigns go for the title. I personally do not want to see Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman again.
I want to see... Hold up. I actually want to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. So... People were giving that main event shit.
That's fine. I don't mind if those two wrestle each other. Not for the belt, though. Come on.
Well, people were giving that main event shit before, a couple years ago when, quote-unquote, Seth Rollins came in and...
That was the saving grace.
Saved the match.
That was the saving grace of that match.
I don't know, man. Like, there was a lot of compelling body language. And they were having... Yeah, that was a good... Like, that match didn't need to get saved. If that match closed WrestleMania, even if Lesnar won or Roman won... Like, the match itself had some really nice spots in it and just good opportunities. And I felt like that was when Roman Reigns was at his strongest. And I don't know, like, Braun Strowman is on fire. Braun Strowman has destroyed a ring, flipped an ambulance, thrown away the trash, is going to have a dumpster match. Is there even a dumpster big enough for him? Like...
I don't know.
Oh my god. Strowman is the best thing going on Raw right now. Like, everyone cheers him. And he's supposed to be a heel. But god, he has cringeworthy promos. There was some cringeworthy... that opening segment with him and Angle was just cringeworthy. So, the last big note is the House of Horrors match, which I thought it was for the title. What the hell?
This whole thing is a big note to me. It's not for the title. It has no meaning whatsoever anymore, I feel like, because this is not for the title. I get it's ending their feud because one's on Raw, the other's on SmackDown, but what's the point? I guess they realized that people just assumed Randy was going to win because he's on SmackDown and the belt needs to be on SmackDown. What was the point of even putting it for the title? But it's sad to say that we are literally a week away and WWE still doesn't know what this match is. So let us be warned or be ready to see a failure of a match.
Or maybe they do know what it's going to be, but they don't want to let
I highly doubt that because the Super Star Shakeup was still being done and planned the morning of Raw.
They have no idea what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be done the morning of next Sunday. I guarantee you.
Let me
Just
explain
like the
to you.
Superstar Shakeup.
Let me explain to you something about this. There was a poll the WWE sent out asking the fans what they wanted to see in the House of Horrors match, and on that list, pyrotechnics was one of the options.
I
Do
didn't
you
even
want CGI? Like,
that's what's gonna be. I have a sad feeling this House of Horrors match is gonna be all those little effects that happens at WrestleMania. They're gonna make it look like this cool. They make it sound like this cool thing, and then it's gonna be nothing.
it's gonna be terrible.
And I'm not interested in seeing Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt again because I was disappointed with their match at WrestleMania. I don't care enough anymore.
I think Randy Orton phones it in way too much. And,
That's why it's going on a Raw pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that Randy Orton needs... he's just not motivated anymore. I mean, he still sells merchandise, and he still is a guy who can get people over. I just don't understand why he has the belt. That annoys me in itself. Alright, GQ, your turn. Go ahead and rip the House of Horrors match.
I don't really have anything to rip it for. It could be a good match. I hope that there's lots of cockroaches and
Ew.
and maggots and
Ew.
and I don't
I hope Finn gets involved in some way to help the feud. Maybe he distracts Bray, like Bray. Well, he didn't technically.
If the title's not on the line,
there's no need anymore. It's a failure. I'm done.
If the title's not on the line, maybe this is a way for Bray to go over clean and move on to Raw.
Sad.
Okay.
I don't.
Maybe have Ginger Mahal cost
Ginger Mahal.
Randy Orton the match.
Oh my god. Let me tell you about the House of Horrors match, okay? Like, this is the poll. This is the poll the WWE sent out. What would you like to see? Cage, darkness, fire, pitchforks, fog, projected images, mirrors, sheeple? What the fuck are sheeples? What is a sheeple? It's on a poll from the WWE. I'm not making this up. What is a sheeple?
How do you spell it?
Sheep, L-E.
People compare to sheep as being docile, foolish, or easily led. It's a noun.
Sheeple, people in sheep masks.
Okay. So, yeah. Sheeple equals GQ. Okay.
What? I'm not a sheeple.
A match set outside the arena. Creepy, scary music. If Metallica randomly starts playing during this match.
Yeah, this match is a failure.
And then someone was putting in snakes. This is such a colossal train wreck. I'll link you guys the tweet that someone sent out about this. You can click on.
Well, hey, I mean, Falls Count Anywhere hardcore matches anymore in WWE equals there's fighting outside the ring for a couple minutes, but no weapons or anything are used anymore, and then there's a pinfall somewhere. So it's like, I don't really know if this match is going to amount to very much of anything, but we'll see. It could be good. It could be better than we think it's going to be. I mean, at WrestleMania they had the cockroach stuff, and I feel like they're trying to expand the Bray Wyatt character with adding that kind of element to him. Ever since Sister Abigail got blown up in the fire when face Randy Orton burned down a house. That's our good guy. That's our hero.
That's our hero, Randy Orton, the arsonist.
The arsonist out of nowhere. when he burnt the body of Sister Abigail, that's when Bray Wyatt gained all these extra powers, where now he can make maggots show up in the ring.
Images of maggots and cockroaches.
Yes, not even real maggots.
Oh,
images of them.
Oh my god. That's hilarious. I have zero sheeple equal WrestleMania 29 main event. Oh my god.
Hey, I'm proud of us. We went under 2 hours because we we actually started like talking podcast wise. Like,
5:15.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
5:15. We did good.
Anyway, we did
Carson,
good.
Adam, you changed your name. Okay, I'm done.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being part of this. If you have any questions for us, you can always tweet at us, and we'll try to get a Q&A session in. Next week, the podcast won't be nearly as long. We had to go over 2 weeks of stuff that was going on.
Because we were at Hershey last week without
Yeah.
you, not riding roller coasters.
I know, I was sad. I couldn't be there. I had to
Corey Corgi was pissed.
pay
So.
bills.
I don't think he was really mad.
Anyway.
Maybe a little.
Anyway, we'll talk later, guys. Thank you all so much for hanging out. And as for my two esteemed colleagues over here at Princess Dianers, you can follow her at Princess with 2 Z's instead of S's because she doesn't like the alphabet. X Diana on the Twitter. Or you can go to twitch.tv/princessdiana. And then you got my boy at the great capital G, capital Q.
That's right.
You can follow him there. He tweets out food porn, video game related news, and things about his life.
And now that I have my new Galaxy S6, expect more high definition pic porn and
What
even
happened to your
more
old one?
Twitter videos. What?
Your new Galaxy S6?
Or S8, I mean.
Yeah.
I just got the new S8. It came out on Friday, and I got it on Friday.
Nice. You can follow him there, and you can check out his cast every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're up that early. Anyway, this is Big Richie 2004 signing off, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful week of wrestling, and we'll catch you guys at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Sunday. Bye, guys.
Adios.
Bye.